I think militarily, it was clear that the US military peaked relative to all its peers in roughly the second Gulf War and the Iraq War. And you started to see increasingly different adversaries, whether they were non-state actors like ISIS or peer states like China, start to develop asymmetric capabilities and try and confront the US in ways that were not where the US had a clear advantage. And the crucial one there is really China, in terms of they effectively have redefined warfare. And I think, this may be a controversial statement, but I think it's very clear that China has been at war with the US for at least 30 years. They've been in an active state of war. They just define war differently. It's not just kinetic action, that is, using your military. It's using, economic means. It's using lawfare. It's using information warfare, all of these things. There has been an active strategy to undermine the US's ability to undertake war. And we're seeing that today in terms of, you have a, instead of, these limited conflicts against poorly funded terrorist organizations, you now have interstate warfare taking place in Ukraine, and also in Israel, Iran. And what is the problem the US is facing? It can't produce weapons fast enough. Why is that? Because over the last 30 years, the US allowed its industrial capacity to be degraded purposely by China, that has shifted most of world manufacturing to China. China is now responsible for 40% of world manufacturing. That wasn't an accident. And by the way, it's not because of cheap labor. It's all because of industrial strategy. If it was about cheap labor, Africa would be where we are. And it is absolutely a strategy. And so you go through these stages, and we are now at a stage where China is a realistic peer competitor in military terms. And that means the US cannot be the global policeman. So we're at this inflection point where it does get potentially very dangerous, that we could have serious interstate conflict between the US and China. And that is a threat to this order that has been slowly decaying, potentially collapsing. That's, I think, the big risk that people